So, what if a tiny, implantable device could end the lifelong struggle that organ transplant patients go through? It sounds like science fiction, right? But that is the incredible claim being made by Moroccan inventor Dr. Youssef El Aazouzi about his new creation. He says it can literally steer your immune system. Okay, let's really get into this.
Yeah, it's being hailed as a world first. This invention is proposing a completely radical way to prevent organ rejection. Instead of just, carpet bombing the body's defenses, it aims to guide them, to act like a traffic controller for the very cells that can attack a brand new organ.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at what this revolutionary claim actually is. Then, we'll get into the huge problem it's trying to solve. We'll explore how this thing supposedly works, and then we'll weigh the promise against the cold, hard scientific proof. We're also going to clear up a key point of confusion about the inventor's work, and finally, map out that long road from a cool idea to a clinical reality. All right, so let's get right to the heart of it. The main idea here, it honestly sounds like something straight out of a movie. This is the big pitch. Just imagine implanting a small device into a blood vessel near, say, a new kidney or liver. The idea is that this device then acts like a cellular GPS. It identifies those aggressive immune cells in your bloodstream and just redirects them, steers them away from that new organ. The end goal, to create this little safe zone. And maybe, just maybe, get rid of the need for those powerful body-wide drugs that patients have to rely on for their entire lives. Now, to really understand why this idea is so exciting, you first have to get a handle on the brutal trade-off that millions of organ recipients face every single day of their lives. Okay, so right now, the standard of care is this thing called systemic immunosuppression. See, your immune system is amazing at its job. So amazing, in fact, that it sees a life-saving donated organ as a dangerous foreign invader. So to stop your body from destroying the organ, doctors have to use heavy-duty drugs to weaken your entire immune system. It's kind of the medical equivalent of using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. And that sledgehammer, man, it comes at a staggering price. By weakening the body's natural defenses, these drugs leave patients wide open to severe infections. Their risk of developing certain cancers shoots way up. And the side effects don't stop there. We're talking about kidney disease, high blood pressure, diabetes. It's this lifelong balancing act where you save the organ, but you do it by compromising the health of the entire rest of your body.
And this is exactly where Dr. El Aazouzi's idea is such a radical change. It's a shift away from chemical warfare on your immune system to physical, localized guidance.
And this table just lays it all out. On one side, you have the current method, chemical suppression, lifelong drugs, the whole body left vulnerable. On the other side, you have this proposed method, a one-time physical device that locally redirects cells, creating a little protective bubble around the organ, while leaving the rest of your immune system free to go fight off actual threats. The analogies they use for this are just perfect. It's not about filtering the blood or destroying cells. No, it's acting like a traffic cop, just waving certain immune cells down a different road. Or think of it as a GPS that reroutes all the inflammatory traffic away from one protected address, your new organ. So the crucial thing to get here is that the body's defenders are still on patrol, they're just being given a little detour.
Okay, this all sounds incredible. I mean, game-changing, right? But an extraordinary claim needs extraordinary evidence. So, what data do we actually have to back any of this up? Well, according to public statements, they did an initial proof-of-concept trial on a large animal. The story goes they artificially caused inflammation in both hind legs, and then they put the device in a major blood vessel supplying them. The results? They were reportedly impressive. Apparently, the device successfully pushed more inflammatory cells to one leg, basically starving the other of those cells, which they then confirmed with blood samples. But, and this is a massive but, all of this information is coming from social media and news reports, not a single scientific journal. As of right now, there are no peer-reviewed publications. The public has no idea how the device works. Is it magnetic, chemical, mechanical? We don't know. And there's no statistical analysis to prove the results weren't just a fluke. This is a huge gap. And this is where things get even murkier, because there's this really troubling contradiction. If you dig into the reports, some very credible sources say the trial was done on a 75-kilogram pig, but other, equally credible sources say it was done on 2 sheep. Now, for a medical company that's looking for millions in funding, that's not a small detail. It raises some serious questions about the precision and, frankly, the reliability of the information they're putting out there.
Now, to get the whole story, we really need to clear up a common point of confusion. We have to distinguish this new device from another, more developed invention from the very same creator.
So Dr. El Aazouzi first got famous back in 2019 for his flow modulation stent. That's an award-winning device, but it's for treating congestive heart failure by redirecting blood flow. That project is much, much further along, but the new device we're talking about today, the immune cell guidance device, is totally different. It's a much earlier, proof-of-concept idea that's designed to redirect immune cells. The success of his first invention definitely lends him credibility, but it's crucial to remember they are not the same thing.
So even with a promising concept and a credible inventor, the journey from an idea you announce on social media to a device that's actually in a hospital, well, that journey is incredibly long and it is full of challenges. So what does that road actually look like? Well, there are a few steps that are totally non-negotiable. First, you need scientific validation. That means publishing your data in a peer-reviewed journal so scientists all over the world can pick it apart. Second, you need regulatory approval, which means tons of paperwork and meetings with bodies like the FDA. Third, you've got to get major funding. And fourth, you have to figure out how to actually manufacture this thing to medical-grade standards reliably and at scale. So far, for this specific immune guidance project, the team has reportedly raised about $250,000. And that's a pretty good chunk of change, all coming from private donors and philanthropists.
But here's the critical context. That $250,000, it's just seed money. It is a tiny fraction of the millions upon millions of dollars that you need to run the official, rigorous preclinical studies and then the multi-phase human trials that regulators demand. The money they have now is enough to prove a concept, not build a product.
So when you boil it all down, this is the very definition of a high-risk, high-reward venture. The potential reward is, well, completely transforming transplant medicine. But the risk is enormous, because this idea is at the absolute beginning of a very, very long and uncertain road. So what's it going to be? A revolutionary cure that changes millions of lives? Or a cautionary tale about a promising idea that just couldn't clear the massive hurdles of science and regulation? For now, the hype is loud and the promise is bright, but the entire scientific community, and really the world, is waiting for one thing, and one thing only: the data.